create eye-catching carousels in less than 5 minutes. You enter a topic, generate a beautiful looking 4-slide carousel ready to be posted on LinkedIn. So the key here is that, our key I want you to know is that Carousel Studio is for LinkedIn, but I'm going to show you how you can use it to create your content for LinkedIn, even if you're not on LinkedIn, right? So you're going to create this content for LinkedIn, and then I'm going to show you how you can recreate or repurpose it for the platform of your choice. What I'm going to show you how to do is how to repurpose it for Instagram carousels. So you're going to go here and type in LinkedIn. But what I want you to be mindful of is that the format for this is 1080 by 1080. So you want to either type in 1080 by 1080 or look for one of the LinkedIn post that has that dimension. If you're not seeing that there, I would suggest going ahead and using a custom design. So let me do that, or custom size rather, and type in 1080 by 1080. The other format that is 1080 by 1080 is the Instagram square. So if you wanted to, you could select Instagram square as well. All right, so create new design. Once I have selected create new design, you're going to see it generated. So we have a blank canvas here. And here's the thing about Carousel Studio. It is AI powered. So you will only be required to enter a topic for your carousel and click generate. You can adjust the appearance in the customize section. So I'm going to enter a topic and I'm going to say how to create a brand identity for a startup. Perfect. And it's 50 characters. So that's key to note as well. Before I generate my design, I'm going to go to customize. I can go ahead and choose my background shape. I can choose a square. I can go ahead and use a color palette that already exists or that they suggest. However, I'm an advocate for saying use your brand colors, be consistent, be cohesive. You don't want to be all over the place. Remember, we're building trust with our audience online. You want them to be able to trust you and be able to recognize your brand. So we're not going to use the suggested color palette. We're going to go ahead and select the color here and choose a color from the color palette. And I'm just going to keep one color. Instead of using like the lavender and then another shade, I'm just going to use one color for this purpose. And I'm going to go ahead and select advanced. And this is perfect if you want to add your social media handle or your brand name to your graphic. In this case, I'm going to write Carey Digital. So we have the information here, and now I'm going to generate this graphic, or rather the carousel. So it's being generated. I'm checking my comments to see if there are any questions. All right. Now that we have generated our slides, it's generating up to 5 slides. So far you're realizing that the first slide was done. So there's always a blank page that is created first, because when we opened it, there was a blank canvas. You can go ahead and delete it. But let us wait until all 5 slides are generated and then we can talk some more. So I'm going to delete the first page. Now I am going to go and just review everything here. So what I'm realizing is that there was some kind of distortion because I was actually clicking different pages while it was being generated. Normally it doesn't operate like that. So because the pages are numbered, what you can go ahead and do, just in case it happens to you, is just rearrange your pages. All right, so I've rearranged my pages, and the only thing that I'm seeing here is that the squares that should be in the background, some of them are to the fore, so you can go ahead and delete them. And let me just do one other organization thing here. This is the first page for the carousel. So one, it has generated a topic. It has said swipe to learn more. So it gives it a call to action. On LinkedIn, it's not necessarily swiping. So I'm going to show you. So we'll delete that call to action and probably say learn more. However, if you're posting to LinkedIn, it's for Instagram, it's perfect, right? I'm going to show you how to repurpose. So we have the topic here, and now we need to make some changes because there's a little bit of distortion, but it's a good foundation to get started. So I'm going to select or delete any elements I don't want. I don't want that element. Remember, because I have my brand kit, the good thing is that I can go ahead and make some changes. So I can go ahead and select the font, and then in the tab, I can go ahead and change the font type. So I'm going to go change all. For this purpose, there's just a lot of space in here. So I'm going to go ahead and change the line spacing. I can make it all caps if I would like. Or if I wanted, I could just split up my text. So that's another thing I can do. This is from a more creative standpoint. You know, you want to say, you know, I want my design to look good. I want my text to look good. So you can split your text. So I'm going to add for a startup. If I wanted to, I could just change back the uppercase and choose another font that's a part of my kit. Right. So if you're seeing here, I am making some changes. And I'm going to delete this element because I don't want it. I can go ahead and add a square. So what I am doing here is just to add my own personal touch to it, because all I've gotten is just the foundational element of creating this brand carousel, this carousel post. Okay, so I have the brand name here. I can go all caps if I want, and then I can take it a little further, go to my brand and just shuffle some things around. So you're realizing the colors is being changed. I can go ahead as well. If I want to, I can add an element. So I can add some images in the background. So if I wanted to, I could say, well, you know, I want an image in the background, or maybe I want to change the placement of the font or the text. So all of these things are things you can do once your carousel is generated. I would suggest, highly suggest, you make all these changes before you start resizing or repurposing your graphic. All right, so I'm just making some changes here. So what I'm doing is just to make this more of my own and transforming the template that I got for the carousel into something that would match my brand. Okay, so we got the foundational thing. So one, what was generated was, we got the suggested copy that was generated using AI, which is a good foundational start. And so it's always good to just double check. So this is just a basic layout. Made some changes here. Again, if I want to change the colors, I go back to my brand kit, use the color palette and swap around some colors. For my call to action, for that icon, I can just change the color. And right, so we have this here. Then again, it's the same thing here. I can just delete any element that I don't want. Maybe I don't want the number, or if I want the number, I can change the placement. Okay, I can go ahead and probably put the number here. Can change the alignment. So these are all things. This is how you're going to know, bring your carousel to life once you have generated your graphic. All right, and the text is too large, so we're going to make that smaller. And as I said earlier, you just read the text to ensure everything is good. If you want to add some more style and design to it, then you can just go ahead and make some changes. If you are not good with like identifying which colors would work where, this is just a good way to use your color palette and just keep swapping and swashing it around until you find something. So this is simple. So I have these two pages, which is the first page, I'm saying home page like we're talking about websites, and the second page. All right. Again, you would have to go through and make your changes. And I would always suggest just add like a call to action at the end of this carousel. So now that we have this, let's make it bigger so we can just have a quick look. This carousel was created using Carousel Studio. We've made some changes. First, we see what it looks like here. Then I went ahead and make some changes, simple, clean. You can go ahead and do the same thing for the other pages. All right, so I'm just going to do just one more. All right. And one of the things you can do as well when you create your carousel using Carousel Studio, if you wanted to, if you have just joined or if you are watching before, you can publish it as a brand template. So that's another way too. You can use a Carousel Studio, create your carousels, save it as a brand template. So the next time you're creating your carousels, you go to your brand template and just update the information. I think that saves so much time. All right. So we do this. All right, good. So we have this, and now what I was saying earlier is that Carousel Studio creates carousels for LinkedIn. Now, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you don't have any desire of posting or publishing on LinkedIn, you want a carousel for Instagram, you can simply go ahead to resize. You need to have Canva Pro in order to utilize this feature. And the important thing you want to do here is choose the correct format. And in this purpose, we're using Instagram post 4:5 aspect ratio. Don't use the square because that is no longer the suggested format that they're utilizing. If you're on Instagram and you're utilizing it, that's something you would realize. All right, so I'm going to select Instagram post. I have the option to copy and resize, or I can just resize this design. For this purpose, I'm going to use copy and resize. And I always suggest doing copy and resize, just in case you want to go back to the original design, make some changes, that kind of thing. So just use copy and resize, and then you can give it a name. Okay. If you have any questions here, you can go ahead and ask. You can drop them in the comments below and I will address them. Also, I want to just share with you, if you want more easy to use videos, or easy to follow videos rather, on how to utilize Canva in your business, you can subscribe to my channel for more. If you would like any parts of this video, if there's anything that you're watching, you're like, yeah man, I like this, you can just give this video a like. I would appreciate it. It helps with just visibility. Know that we have copied and resized our LinkedIn carousel into an Instagram carousel. I'm going to open that tab, and you're seeing here that there's some little things that are a little bit off, right? Some things are a little bit off. So let us fix some elements that's a little bit off. For the first page, it wasn't much. For the second page, it's probably just the placement, and I can just simply use the grid lines or margins. So I can use the margins. I always suggest using your margins to help and guide you. If you don't have a background in design, if you consider yourself a non-designer, but you have Canva and you're using Canva, there are just some key things to bear in mind. And one of them is just using your margins so that when you publish on any platform, it's not wonky, it's not all over the place. It does look, you don't want to be all over the place with your designs. Remember, we're creating professional designs. We want to build trust with our brand. We want persons, so when they see our brand, they see credibility, trust, that kind of thing. All right, so we have redesigned, or resized rather, or LinkedIn carousel into an Instagram carousel post. And it's simple. It's really this easy, guys, to save time in content creation. So